Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a quick Divine Masculine Twin Flame read for you. I'm going to get right into it. It is March 1st, 2019. Welcome March. It is the 1 of the Magician, and the day adds up to 16 of the Tower. So it's very powerful energy today. The read for the Masculine was done at 4:19. The major arcana from the Syrian Starseed deck were Luna, which is the Moon, Abundance, which is normally the Empress, Higher Self, which is normally the High Priestess, and Justice, Divine Justice. There were 2 Pentacles, 3 Wands, 1 Cup, and 1 Sword. The Court cards were Knight of Wands and Knight of Swords. So that can be very much of 2 friends out on the town. The numbers and the codes were all about karmic completion, and the other cards came up, another completion, so there's a lot of karmic completion coming up here. The numbers were 5, 10, 55, 77, 57, and 20, and 2311. The coding had to do with the karmic completion, but also high vitamin C was coming up again, and it was coming up in relation to depression. So I looked it up, and actually they've had really amazing results with high doses of C with depression, and you know they also cure cancer with very high doses of vitamin C. So, you know, don't be afraid of C unless you've been told not to take it. Your body will flush out what you don't need. So, and I was getting specifically here like 500 to 1,000 milligrams a day. I've always taken a lot of vitamin C. My father raised us on a multivitamin and vitamin C every day. So if you're feeling depressed, you might want to try that and see how it works for you. You can mess around with the dosage a bit, okay? So see what works for you. But if you take just a little bit, like, you know, 20 or 50 milligrams, it probably won't do that much for you because you probably get that in your food anyway. So I would try a little bit higher than that. I'm not giving you medical advice, but it is vitamin C. You can experiment on your own. The message was also about the 5 of Cups was coming up, so the grieving process. So I was talking about the C in conjunction with that. And also to high 5 could be coming up. Some of you might be giving you a high 5. But also the high Kohan, so to be your highest self, the highest version of you, to commit to yourself and expand to your high self, to the high C's, to that high vibration, the 101010. And you might be tested on the grieving process too, right? So you might be confronted with something that would normally make your feelings hurt, whereas now you're going to rise above that. So just be aware of that, and you should be anyway. That's the point of being present, of always being able to come right back to 0 point. Also, natural cures were coming up for hiccups. And it was interesting because when I looked up hiccups, actually vitamin C can cause hiccups. I don't know if it helps in getting rid of them, but you can look up the natural cures online for hiccups. Also, the top 10 English golfers were coming up. When people worried about babies with hiccups, but it's natural for some babies. I mean, people are complaining about their babies hiccuping all day. But there's some different things you can try online if that's an issue. Turkish was coming up in flashcards from Quizlet. And then a scale development and construct clarification of servant leadership came up. And it was, you can search that under scale development and construct. I'm not sure, I think it was from a university, but I forget which one. The different categories were altruistic calling, listening, empathy, healing, awareness, persuasion, conceptualization, foresight, stewardship, growth, and community building. Also the history of Polk County came up, the year 1888, and yellow fever scare, and that was from usf.edu. Also, just in passing, there was part of a phrase that was talking about communicants' gesture in the act of receiving. So it's talking about allowing yourself to receive, and how do you respond physically? What are the gestures you make? Is it something that might put someone off? So just something to look at, nothing to fear, but it's just bringing up the act of receiving, allowing yourself to receive, and how is it that you show others that you are open to receiving. Also, history of number 6 Squadron, Royal Naval Air Service in the world came up, as well as gear, ammo land, so ammunition.com. I don't know why that was coming up unless someone's looking for ammunition. So getting right into the read. The moon is the underlying energy, okay? So at night, talking about the divine masculine, possibly, you know, having struggles at night, which is what the feminine definitely went through and may still be going through. Happy to be, but the masculine's coming up here is happy to be alone when he's feeling a lot of the energies coming in, or a lot of people are attacking at him or just coming at him, right? He's just happy to be alone at night, you know, being at peace. He finds better luck that way, and better fortune when he's feeling like brain wars or acting up, or anxiety, you know, or fight, you know, circling in your head, brain wars. Destined to rise above people or energies that are attacking him. Burdened Empress was coming out as out in public, but out near a golf course up on a hill, carrying the weight of the King of Swords. There may be a pilot who comes up here who let himself go, but it was someone with a long beard that was very scraggly. But I was also getting the goofy pilot from, I forget what movie it was. But you know that actor? He's got the really funny face. He's always got a lazy eye. And I think he was in, I don't know if he was in Frankenstein or not, but he might have been. And I always forget which movies. He's in a lot of movies, and he's a really funny guy. But I always forget what his name is. But I'm seeing him with the old-fashioned goggles on, and him like being goofy. But I'm seeing that. But the guy with the lazy eye was coming up as well, and the old-fashioned goggles. The Hermit with the light over the Queen of Swords, rolling out natural carpet by the brick fireplace. The King of Swords broken from the Queen of Swords, while the Hermit was standing on the edge. Professional person with the light on the Queen of Swords, talking about the Queen of Swords, talking about snake boots and buckles, a lot of stuff that I bring up, and 12 light stereo systems. So some of the masculines might have, you know, I'm definitely getting this stereo system that like is in the middle of their chair. So it could be built into a couch, or like a movie theater setup that they have at home. Something built into his throne, or domino effect, or dominoes, and leaves tracked into the house. The Hermit is sticking their butt where it doesn't belong, or the Leo's butt is in Virgo's way, or someone is having their butt looked at, or Leo is putting their butt out there for the Hermit to see, steering the ship that set sail that day on a 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough, and the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. So we're talking Gilligan's Island here. Uncharted desert isle with Gilligan, the skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, the movie star, the professor, and Mary. So here on Gilligan's Isle. So it's saying some of you may very well have these kind of circumstances, this kind of drama with these characters. And then little Buddy was coming up as, right? Gilligan was the star of the show, but he was little Buddy to the skipper. And also he was the ship's hand, which brings up a story that I had about my family lineage, because this is always going back to your lineage and clearing any shadow aspects. So my great-grandfather was going to run away from home. He wanted to take violin lessons, and they couldn't afford it, so they said no. So he ran away from home, and he was going to be a ship's hand on a ship. And of course someone found him before the ship left port, which was very fortunate for him, because he did go home with his family, and the hand that did end up going on that ship ended up being killed by the ship's captain. So this is paralleling that for me. But Gilligan, as the ship's hand was coming up here, twins or kids experience a storm, or may have gotten sick on a cruise, or twins or kids are just heartbroken or in separation from feeling rejected, or someone's fish died, or a Pisces is just having general depression because they tend to get depressed more easily. And then I was guided to say vitamin C, vitamin C, vitamin C. We'll feel better once you reach land. And this was metaphorically also for the twins. You know, once you get all out of these rough emotional waters, you'll feel better once you're on land and you're grounded. Grounded when propeller stops and your ship is docked. Let go of control issues for the masculine came up, as well as new love beneath that. And harsh truth of arrest, being dominated, hospitalized, rehab, or being tied up. And again, this stuff came up in the union read as well. Female showing their muscle, whether it's the karmic or a mother, someone else, but showing their muscle in fighting. It's in her family DNA lineage, wanting to dominate everything in sight. Big palms, heels, and butt, tail, and hairy. Forces her masculine to wax and keep his hair short with right elbow pain, like making him do all these things for her. Tackling him and forcing him to eat or do certain other things that she likes and he doesn't. A karmic dreams of being a porn star, or makes him make movies of them in their basement with a black cat and sword and cauldron, crystals and mirrors. She says he's a bore and wants to pull his fangs out, that nothing's ever good enough for her. Heart of stone was coming up. Sex on the beach, in the dungeon, in the park, and fruit basket, role playing. Can't say she's boring. Spiritual partnership and perseverance was coming up as the underlying energy. But the truth of conflict, of Leo fighting her own suffering and punishing him for it, has absolutely nothing to do with love. And also, whenever Leo comes up, it could just have to do with the ego as well. The masculine's own ego, him doing that to himself. Evil manipulator is sexually driven, forcing others to juggle coins and perform miracles and rainbows for them. Otherwise, they get cut. Now the divine masculine using their abilities, standing in their truth, making his own rainbows, using intuition, but creatively or sexually stuck at the moment, taking down Twinkle Toes, Tinkerbell, the masculine, in a refusal, saying no, and standing up for himself. Lots of wounded around him, but he stays floating above the fray. A pipe organ in a snow globe. A one-man band with laser to sting you or make glass art out of. Or the high priestess is performing and making rainbows appear where there are none. As the new moon approaches, she floats above without a space helmet, and the magician reversed has taken down everyone in their wake, and they're pissed and manipulative. Okay, so this could be a masculine or a karmic. It could be somebody it's someone in the divine masculine's world, because this is the read for the masculine. But it could definitely be a divine feminine, it could be a karmic, and it could be himself. The high priestess making the magician look like Tinkerbell, which makes him matter, of course. So this could be the karmic doing that to the masculine. At night, the Queen of Swords speaks of rejection, frustration, and blocks, control issues, blocking new love, and nightmare partners. Recently for the masculine, the family is blocked at night, dropping burdens or confessing. There's an Emperor reversed, out of control, or it could be out of ego, but looking back or going back to his childhood, right, to release these energies. Especially if he's staying at his parents, if he left a relationship or his marriage and he's staying at his parents, that was kind of coming up here too. So especially those childhood memories will bring up a lot for him to clear. The foundation is the Four of Flames, the Four of Wands, but only two showing. Two of the flames showing. Holding on to stability to go within to find the King of Pentacles, his King of Pentacles upright again, right? That solid, stable, loving person. Holding on to stability to go within to find that, and to find what he's resisting in his transformation. The Queen of Wands is coming up reversed, without opportunity and tired of looking or trying, or pissed with no attention or no invitations at home. Centrally, the energy for the masculine is all about abundance and or the Empress, in a bold move or travel to express feelings of passion. The Page of Wands is inspired by her, mesmerized actually by her, and there could be jealousy there, whether it's his or the karmic. When he sees the feminine, the karmic may naturally see his response to it. All right, the challenge being sadness of dreams or just healing, and the truth of abandonment and destitution, especially if you're broken up in a relationship and you've lost money but also just feeling void of any emotion at all. Wanting to steal energy from third party through work, church, or place of creativity. So when the masculine hasn't been around the feminine a long time, or she's not letting him in the 5D, he gets blocked to the energy and he becomes depleted. And then he kind of wants to use her just to get that energy back so he feels good. And also the karmic may be trying to get it from him as well. So, wanting to steal energy from the third party through work or whatever, there may be a message of jealousy or abusive behavior and stealing energy for his karmic or for himself. But the angel, the masculine, is actually inspired. Or he could be talking about divine feminine as well. Crowning for the masculine is the Knight of Wands with unhappy family and a new love. A risk to sneak out. The Knight of Cups is on board though. Very sexually frustrated and about to explode. Night and day, day and night, under the stars with you. Night and day, no matter where you are. I think of you night and day, day and night. So that song was coming up for the masculine. But they're lacking faith. He's worried he'll fall on his face in a sudden reunion, or too nervous to perform, or too excited to last. Needing rescue himself, with the Queen of Cups' tender loving care, the Knight of Cups going for top prize. Or the Knight of Wands is the karmic, getting him to watch her, his feminine, divine feminine, and have a sexual reunion with her, the karmic, to steal her energy for her and get comfort from her. So the divine feminine can comfort him in the 5D, and she can get sex from him and get her energy at the same time, and the karmic's fine with that. This is what I was getting for somebody. So the angels inspired to offer love to the divine feminine, a new life with twin, an offering for her sadness, as the Queen of Pentacles alone. Soon, the Knight of Swords, King of Cups, is excited to steal away. Working, but Spirit saying to the masculines, time's up, and getting schooled by the Sphinx at midnight, like Cinderella. They expose, it's like they're telling the masculine, if this doesn't happen by midnight, everything gets exposed to him, to his kids, to free him with a big message with red and white and graveyard. Messenger of truth, mastering love, to come together with those trying to run away from it, afraid of the risk of love. The divine masculine is seeing himself as his higher self. He's over the cycling. He's still probably purging, but maybe over a purge that he just had, but unstable or moving right now. Awakened but not talking to his divine feminine. Around the divine masculine, or how he is seen, is the divine feminine's heart, now receiving guests. The Empress is complete but still emotional. The masculine needs to clear blocks of rising in the heat. So any drama that comes up, in order to tango and always be present. Also be ready to meet eye to eye. And be willing to admit he may not be in his truth. You know, he needs to clear that stuff. And a need for attention, the wounded warrior, which he won't want to admit. Karmic completion comes up here, but even more so than that is just general completion. Self-discipline for the masculine. Taking a leap to romance. Love isn't blind, it's justice that's blind. The Queen of Pentacles, twin messenger, takes a leap away from victim mentality as the Knight of Wands divorces and or settles an injustice. Choosing path as his usual for the masculine is not working. He can't focus at work. There's a new passion for the ultimate family with the Queen of Pentacles, truth and balance, and their inner knowing. Breaking patterns of codependency. The Queen of Pentacles is back on top and grounded again. So at night, home and union with higher self and the divine feminine's heart, who has abundant family, grieving, using truth, and standing up for herself. The Knight of Wands passion, knowing justice, takes care of itself, that truth is triumph. Also at night with family, masculine may be frustrated or they may be frustrating. The karmic at home with the Knight of Wands who could be sad. The High Priestess, Knight of Swords, Divine Feminine, rises to truth and justice. Or the Karmic may be at home, and she may have the kids at her mom's, so that the Knight of Wands, or the masculine, can go out with his friend, the Knight of Swords, to the High Priestess's house to see what's up, now that he's divorced, and telling the truth. So there's definitely going to be some masculines coming forward here. All right, we're already at 20 minutes, so I think I'm going to let it go at that. I'm going to show you the picture of the read, and make sure you guys drink your water and take good care of yourselves, get enough rest. And it's tough to sleep a full night, but so sorry, it's a little bit dark for the full read. And then this is the basic read here. Okay, I think that was it. Is there anything else? Oh, and this came up in the shuffle. That came up in the shuffle for the masculine. Okay, guys, rise and be love.